Oh, awesome. So I'm going to talk about branding. One reason I want to talk about it is because I honestly feel like I need to be better at it. And then every time I look through trainings, I'm like, okay, I know this. I just need to do it. So it's not really hard. It's just the fact that we need to do it and be aware. And once you kind of get your brand down, it's a lot easier to basically do what we do because it makes it easier to post and to know what to talk about and all that good stuff. So there are literally 400,000 Beachbody coaches, which is a lot. Now, not all of them are working, but you guys need to be able to separate yourself from Beachbody coaches because anyone can get Shakeology online. Anyone can get a free coach. So people need to be able to get you, and how you need to be able to attract people. You're not going to connect with everyone, and I know this is something that me and Megan were just talking about this the other day. Is when we used to add people on Facebook or whatever, we would add everyone and anyone because we just wanted to make a sale. And now it's okay, well, we're building a team and we want to work with people we like. We want to work with like-minded people that are like us. And the way we're going to attract these people is by building our brand and just by being ourselves. And that's what your brand is, you guys. It's not like Nike where you're going to, start branding in any way like that. Your brand is literally you and just being authentically you. But if you're not showing that on Facebook, it's not always easy to show that if you don't know how. But if you're not showing that on social media, people aren't going to know your brand. So we're going to have to establish our brand and know how to show it in order to find the people that we want to work with. So another thing, you're not going to connect with everyone, but one thing that I know when I first started is I heard a lot is people are going to either love you in your posts or hate you in your posts. And that's something that's kind of hard to hear. No one wants someone to not like what they, my sister-in-law literally hates me because of Beachbody, which is whatever, I'm over it. But it took me a long time to get over that. Now I'm just whatever. Who cares, right? It is what it is. But you're either people are going to love you or people are going to hate you. And that's how it is. But the people who love you are going to love you. And if you don't have a brand, you're not going to find that. People are going to like you, but you're not going to have those people that are your people. One quote is that I heard, I watched a bunch of videos before, but a lot of them, 2 or 3 videos said, the only way that you are going to make sure that no one judges you is if you do say or be nothing. So literally if you're in quiet corner doing nothing, saying nothing, no one's going to judge you. But as soon as you open your mouth, someone's going to judge you. So be yourself because you're literally going to get judged anyways. Your people are going to whatever. So don't worry about that. It's going to happen no matter what. So you just have to be authentic. It's hard sometimes to just be yourself, especially in this world, but really just, you have to be your most authentic self. So quick activity, I want you guys to get a paper and draw a line down the middle. Doesn't have to be anything big, sticky notes fine, anything like that. And on one side, I want you to write similarities, and the other side, I want you to write differences. And then what I want you to do is literally write down the similarities you have with Beachbody coaches and then the differences of you and Beachbody coaches. So similarities, we all have Shakeology, we all work out, we're all coaches. Differences is where it's going to be more you. So for me, I'm a dog mom, I like hiking, I live in Colorado, I'm kind of a very organized person. So those are some things about me that are different than just everyone else. So take a minute to write those down. Okay, so we've done an activity before where we had found our 5 words that I did a content workshop thing that we found 5 words that are going to define us. And I'm going to ask you guys to do that again, because if you guys haven't found those 5 words that define you, you need to. Maybe you're a newer coach, so you haven't done that yet. But out of these differences, especially, find 5 words that define you. And it might be more than this. But for me, the 5 things that I really like to focus on are outdoors. I love being outdoors, whether it's at the beach, hiking, just on my patio. I love being outside. Mental health is huge for me. And for a long time, I posted a lot about fitness. But for me, it's really not fitness that I love. It's the way it makes me feel and the way it helps me mentally. So I need to focus more on that than the actual fitness side of things. And I know that because that's what attracted me to it. So outdoors, mental health, organization, dog mom, and freedom, because I love I've never wanted to be like stuck down on a 9-to-5 job. I've always liked to be able to do my own thing. That's why I was a server for so long, because I could basically take a week off and not, have no backlash with it. So freedom's huge for me. So those are my 5 things. And I want you guys to find those. If you haven't found them yet, sit down tonight, sit down this week and figure that out, because that's super important. But between your similarities and your differences, you wrote down, what are you leading with in your posts? That's huge to me. When I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's super true. Because as much as I like to think that I do post about my dog and all that stuff, I do also post a lot about my similarities, just Beachbody stuff. And there's so many other ways to tie in the similarities through the differences, which are going to attract more people to you, more of your people, like I said. So for me, instead of just like workouts, but really tying that into mental health and confidence and that versus just workouts, because everyone has workouts, not even just us, but 1,000 other places people can get workouts from. So just those differences, you guys need to lead with your differences and not lead with your similarities. And that's not always easy, but if you just do a personal check every few weeks on your own social media and see what you're posting. I know I need to do that. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I've posted 3 call to actions in the last 2 weeks and 4 workout videos. And I'm like, I need to space it out a little bit. But then I can look back on my 5 things I want to post about. And, if I haven't posted about anything outdoors lately, I'll post about something like that. So always having those 5 things to go back to. And you kind of always want to also filter your post through that. So if you want to post something and it doesn't have anything to do with your 5 things, you might not want to post it. I'm not going to say always, because there's definitely some things that aren't going to be specifically in your 5 things that you're going to want to post about. But I don't know, what if all of a sudden I started posting about babies or something, which I love babies, don't get me wrong, I can't wait to have kids, but I've never talked about that on social media. So for me to all of a sudden go and talk about that, it would be I don't know, Nike all of a sudden selling high heels. That's just not what it is. So just you have to stay consistent to your brand, because consistent brands build trust. So stick to your brand. People know you, people like you, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So, and that is, building a brand is how you get people to do that, along with building relationships and all that other good stuff too. So one other good thing that I always like to post about, and I feel like all of us should always have this as an option, is just personal development and aha moments, because so many people don't do personal development. And the fact that we're able to be the messenger to people, I think is really cool. I love sharing my personal development takeaways on social media, and literally think about that. You can be the messenger versus okay, so if you read a book and you'll go tell your friends, okay, I read this book and this is what it said. But if you post about it in your own way, people, your followers are going to be like, oh my gosh, my friend Jamie posted about this. That's so cool. So you're the messenger, not the author, which is a cool thing. So that in that way, you're branding yourself. Obviously, make sure you're not just plagiarizing or anything, but it's really cool to be able to be that messenger to people, to be that inspiring person, and just always be positive. I just need to say that. Never talk about anything negative on social media. I would say don't bring up politics and all that kind of stuff. If you want to, you can. If that's your brand, that's cool. But there's a lot of things that personally, I don't think need to steer people away from you, just because politics and religion and things like that, unless you're very, very much into one way. But stay positive on social media. I know around election time it gets crazy and all those things, but staying positive is so huge, because there is so many negative people on social media. So just to stay positive, I get messages super often. I just got this long paragraph the other day of this girl, like, I just love how you stay so positive and you share like what you're going through, but you're always staying positive, and it just helps me stay positive even though I'm not even going, whatever. So like, just be that positive influence. I don't care what your brand is, but being a positive is something we should all strive to do. So I just had to throw that in there. And just like your aha moments, like anything you learn, any tips and tricks and tools and whatever, just life hacks, any of that stuff. People like to know that. So sharing those things is always good. So your avatar, I haven't really talked about building an avatar, but it's kind of one of those things that people used to always talk about. But basically, like, I don't know if you guys ever had like Yahoo Messenger or whatever, where you literally got to build an avatar. It's basically a Bitmoji now these days. But who you are talking to is basically like your avatar, your mini-me. Basically, I'm going to say like your Bitmoji now. That literally just came into my head. But you're literally talking to yourself. And so maybe it's not you, but I want you to have a picture in your mind of like who you're talking to. And most people, like, it's either gonna, like, most people who have this really clear picture in their mind is either someone very similar to them that they like made up, or sometimes people have like a celebrity person that's like very similar to them, that they like really connect with, that they have that as their avatar. But just have someone in your mind that you're talking to. Think about what does she like? What does she look like? What does she like to do? What are her fears? What are her struggles? What are her dreams? What's holding her back from her dreams? What's holding her back from life? What excites her? What motivates her? So knowing these things is likely going to be, this is something I struggle with, but you hear all the top coaches talking about, is talking to like Jamie before Beachbody, or like Jamie 5 years ago. And I really struggle with that, because I'm like, I don't even know. But just thinking about like your avatar, like what did I need to hear 4 years ago to get me motivated to start motivating myself? So keeping those things in mind, keeping a specific person in mind to talk to, because you really have to remember that you're not going to please everyone. There's going to be people mad. People are going to block you. People are going to unfollow you. That's just our business. It's going to happen. And it sucks, but it is what it is. So just know that and be yourself, and just speak the language of your avatar. Speak that language. I know that sometimes I have to like reread my things and be like, okay, I wouldn't say that. You get so caught up on what other top coaches are saying, and like you see their language and this and that. But you really just have to be you, because those top coaches, they already have their followers with that language. Like, they're good. You have to be yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to find your people. And another side note is bringing that into your challenge groups, into your team pages and all that. So most of you guys probably don't have team pages, but you guys have challenge groups. So speaking that language inside of those communities, so that those are your people. They're speaking that language, and they're thriving then because that's their language, and they were drawn in because of that, and now they're in it because of that as well. So that's something I know I struggle with. We're always talking about like how to make our challenge groups better, and I think that's one thing that like I need to work on, is just like in my morning posts, like bringing that language, bringing what excites us. And we've talked about that. We're doing more like affirmations and gratitude and stuff like that in our challenge groups, because we both do that. We love that. So making sure that you're just doing those things in your challenge groups, in your team pages and whatnot. So the last thing I want to talk about is just like filters and colors. So especially on Instagram, having like a similar color scheme or filter scheme throughout your photo, so it looks like a brand would. And same with like if you're doing maybe like announcements or call to action posts or anything with like words on it or pictures on it, any pictures or words on your pictures, get them to be similar look. If you do that, I don't really do a lot of words on my pictures, but I know some people that do, and they're like, every single one has the same font in the same color, so it doesn't look crazy. So just having a consistent look on your social media. So that's all I have for now. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, and always bring, like I said, just having an upswing at the end of anything that you're going through. Just always have an upswing at it. Doesn't, like, you need to share your struggles, but always bringing a positivity at the end, because we just don't want to bring people down. That's not what we're here for. So yeah. Anyone else?
I Love that. And I always and it was such a good reminder, because I've done so many like trainings on, or tuned into so many trainings on branding and like setting yourself aside. And I love that you said lead with your differences. And that's such a good reminder to like do, because we do all have the same things to offer. I just want to share a couple things that I did. And I did this a while